Hello everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, July 3rd, officially a U.S. holiday for the July 4th weekend, so everybody in the U.S. who might be watching this today or maybe next week, hope you had a nice July 4th. First up, Yahoo was caught testing Google search results, Google-powered search results in the Yahoo search engine. So Aaron Wall spotted this, I guess, during his testings. And he actually provided screenshots showing this. And Yahoo actually confirmed it. They said, as we work to create an absolute best experience for Yahoo users, from time to time we run small tests with various partners, including search providers. There's nothing further to share. But specifically, Google, they actually confirmed they are testing different partners, including Google. And Aaron Wall actually provided examples of showing you what they're testing. All of this while Bing officially signed a 10-year deal, search deal, to power AOL search. And AOL search, historically, for the past, can't even remember how long now, has been powered by Google. And Google, when they first introduced AOL search powered by Google back 100 years ago, Google, that was a big thing for Google. And now, because AOL has a big market share, but now AOL has like less than 1% market share, it doesn't make much of a difference at all to Google. It makes a slight difference to Bing, but it's more a principle, more of an ego hit. So that's interesting to see. It would be pretty funny to see Yahoo search eventually go with Google. The only thing is, Yahoo just signed a deal with Bing to renew their search deal, and while the contract specifically said 51% of the Bing ads, the ads have to be powered by Bing ads. It didn't say anything about organic, so I'm not sure if they're for a lot of testings or something else is going on. So yesterday and this morning, John Mueller from Google basically said, still no Panda refresh, didn't happen yet. It should happen fairly soon. He said, I doubt it's going to happen over the July 4th weekend. We'll see what happens with that. He said this in both a German Hangout yesterday, which the SEO blog, seo-portal.de, transcribed for me, as well as all of us. And also this morning I asked John Mueller at 5 o'clock in a Google Hangout this morning to clarify that, and he did. And he basically said it's happening fairly soon. If I had to guess, if I had to me, not John, if I had to guess when it's going to happen, I think the earliest this will happen will be Thursday, a week from this coming, yesterday. So in a week from now, you might see the Google Panda results. I think that's the earliest it's going to happen. It'll probably be on a Thursday night, Thursday afternoon, depending on where you are. Thursday night East Coast, rolling out Friday morning. But again, that's if everything goes as planned. And no, I don't have any inside information. Google, again, is playing around with the slow label. Here's a screenshot showing the slow label in action. So you can see here, it shows the slow to, whoops, whoa. It shows the slow to load over here. And this is different from when they had the red slow labels back a couple months ago, where it looked more like a big red warning sign, like slow, don't go here, slow, versus a hazard sign where it's low. Just keep that in mind. Google's spammy structured markup. We covered this as a penalty or a manual action that you would get on your website for having spammy structured markup or spammy rich snippets. And we covered this back in a year ago, February, so a long time ago. This is going on for a while. There was an article like Search Land about this, which kept people asking, like, what happens when you get it? Does it drive a manual action to where you actually lose rankings, or does it just impact your rich snippets? So I asked Google this, and John Mueller said in a Google Hangout, I believe this past Wednesday, that it's only related to your rich snippets. It doesn't hurt your rankings. It will actually lead to you being your rich snippets to be removed from the search results. And John Mueller said this in a Google Hangout where I asked him that question. That's me and Aaron Wall this week. Me and Aaron Freeman this week talking about that with John Mueller. So again, if you get that manual action, it just impacts your rich snippets. It does not impact your rankings in Google, at least not now. Google breadcrumb search seemed to have a bug. So somebody caught this, and John Mueller actually replied on Google saying this is something you have to look into. But basically, these two results, here's the desktop result and here's the mobile result. And as you can see, the breadcrumb is slightly different. And actually, when you click on it, it takes you to the different pages completely. Or at least it used to, and I'm not sure if it does now, but it was a bug. I'm not sure if it's a wider issue or whatever. another Hangout, this is a Hindi Hangout in English. We had Googlers basically say around language URL. So if you have a URL that say it's in Hindi and it's a special language with different type of character sets, Google said that it's better to have the URL structure or the URL language in the language that your content's in. So if it's Hebrew, you should have Hebrew characters. If it's English, you should have English characters. If it's Hindi, you should have Hindi characters, and so forth. It's not the end of the world if you don't, but they said it's definitely better if you do. John Mueller said this morning in that Google Hangout, this morning around 5 a.m., that Google will try to index your whole entire page, blah, 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 and that, somebody asked, will they crawl your whole entire page, what's the limit? And John Mueller said it's probably around these days, it's probably around 10 megabytes. This has changed over the years. Google keeps indexing more and more heavy page content, but make sure, if you have a heavy page, make sure if it's 10 megabytes that the content that Google will crawl will be within that 10 megabyte limit, and anything past that 10 megabyte limit, Google might not crawl. Gary Ilias, I'm not even pronouncing that right, Gary from Google, went ahead and saw that Matt Cutts from Google, who's on leave, basically said, hey, check this out, you can actually go ahead and implement HSTS to force HTTPS across URLs. I believe I have that set up on Search Engine Roundtable and Rusty Brick. But either way, when you do that, Gary said, be careful. Make sure your site fully supports HTTPS. Without that, weird stuff could happen in index and so forth. And Matt Cutts said, yes, you're absolutely right. HTTPS implies if you're always using HTTPS, don't use HSTS unless you have that. So it could have an impact on your rankings if you go that route, but if you do, it definitely makes your site feel more secure, and so forth. Google has asked webmasters to to fill out a form or a poll over the Google Webmaster, actually in the Google Docs area, basically asking them to say, do you want to be able to compare or combine websites in your Google Master Tools? And the answers are no, I don't. 2 is if you do, yes, I'd like to use it to combine different URL versions of my site, obviously combining HTTPS and HTTP versus www and non-www would be nice. Yes, I like to use it to track subdomains, so desktop and mobile sites, international subdomains and so forth. Or I like to track my entire brain, subdomains, apps, and so forth. Yes, all those answers. You can either say, you can only answer one of them, but it doesn't say, it says other as well, but it should just be a yes to all. I think it'd be great. Also, comparing stats across domains for benchmarking would be pretty cool. Next up, Google News released their newsletter this week. It's their second newsletter. They're working on their third now. And the only new item that I saw in there, which is a significant one, is that now you could actually control the image that Google News uses for your article. And the way you do that is either through image schema markup, the schema markup for images, or the Open Graph OG image command, and that would actually go ahead and actually specify the right image for the article, and that's something you can control. You should definitely try to do so. Google said for expediting indexing, you still can and should not just use sitemaps and not just use XMLs and RSS, but you can also use pub sub hubbub. And John Mueller was a big fan of it. He said he'd definitely use it. There's a Chrome WordPress extension you could add to your WordPress blog if you have it. And it basically helps you expedite your indexing of your new content. Google's testing a new local mobile interface. It's basically on the desktop results. So this is typically what you see on mobile, but now it's on desktop. So it's pretty cool. You can see here's a screenshot. I like it. It's so much slicker and cleaner. The question is, will they go live with that? Probably, because Google's a mobile first approach. And finally, we covered this, I think, 2 weeks ago, that your location extensions can now be pulling review data from Google My Business listings, and now Google actually confirmed it yesterday or the day before, basically saying it's starting to roll out today, when it actually started rolling out 2 weeks ago. In any event, that pretty much recaps the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable. Again, today is July 3rd. Everyone have a great holiday weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.